Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, March 16th, 3:12 p.m. Mountain Time. And again, I'm going to be that YouTube guy who asks you, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the like button if you like the video. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. I would love to see that feedback as well. But it does help me out. Just want to remind you, it does help me out. It motivates me to do videos on things that I have in the past. It lets me know if I'm doing something that people are interested in, as opposed to something that people think, oh, I just watched for a half hour and wasted my time. So do me a favor. I would greatly appreciate it if you did hit the subscribe button and you did hit that like button. Thank you. Today, I'm going to be going over all altcoins, and we're going to be naming a lot of them. Why? Because I think it's altcoin season starting again, and I think if it is, you know, it may not be, but I think if it is, this could be the biggest ones we've ever seen in history. And I'm going to be mentioning over 20 altcoins, and the ones that I'm going to be mentioning, I don't know everything about every single one of them. The reason I'm mentioning them is I think that they've got popularity and hype to them. I think they are growing in popularity, or I think they can potentially grow in popularity in the future. And I'm going to give the reasons why I think that, and we're going to look at different things, whether it's the project, whether it's, you know, it went up 200% and came down 50% and it's been settling for a while. The majority of my trading does get done on technical analysis, probably 70-30. The fundamental side, there's got to be something behind it that could get people excited about it, right? So we're going to be going over, I'm going to go through them quick, and the purpose of this is to maybe mention some that you are in or you might have heard of, or maybe some that you haven't heard of that you can look into yourself and make a decision. Because this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research and look into these. Again, I don't know. Some of them I might not know anything about. I've just heard them being mentioned multiple times over and over, so it's worth mentioning them so I and you can look into them. So first off, I'm going to start with the larger ones and work my way down. And I'm not going to spend as much time on the larger ones because you probably heard of them. First, what I want to do is I want to mention to you why I think it's altcoin season. This is the only time I'm going to mention Bitcoin today. Is, you know, we had mentioned since we were down here that we're probably going to come up and meet resistance, and we'll probably get rejected a little bit. It was a little bit of a struggle, but only for a couple days, and then we came down. We didn't quite make that handle that we wanted. Generally in a cup and handle, you know, you won't quite make it all the way up. You might come like 10% short of that previous high. We made it above. Now it looks like we could potentially make that handle, right? And if we stay in this upward channel, right, we could potentially see significant new all-time highs. But while we're in that channel, I'm not too concerned if we break that. As I said in a previous video, we can come all the way down to 50,000 and still be fine and still be really strong. And that's okay. The sideways movement is the best here. That would be really great. And that would be really strong for altcoins with some sideways movement right now. So we'll watch that play out. And we're going to start with Polkadot. And Polkadot, I'm sure you've heard of, it was number 4 on the top market caps, and it's a network, and it is built by the creator of Kusama. And what I want to talk about is its price level, right? It's gained a lot in popularity. It started when it launched at $2. It went up to 5 pretty quickly, right? Or 10 pretty quickly, actually. It came back down. It actually made it down briefly into the 7s, I believe. But it's been, you know, one of the most trending cryptocurrencies that there is. It made it up to 42. It's been kind of consolidating in this 32 to 39 range, and it could be ready to go. And the next one I want to talk about is Cardano. Cardano, the big news today is that it's getting listing on Coinbase Pro. So right now, what's happening is people are able to move their Cardano into Coinbase Pro, but you can't trade it yet. The reason why I still think this has room to run, and probably the bulk of the run, is because it starts trading on the 18th. So it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news here, where the initial rumor was transferring over today, the 16th, and the real news is when it actually starts trading. Could be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Previous high of $1.46. Could see $2 for all I know. I don't think that it's going to come down to where it was at before the news was released. That'd be really disappointing, where it was at about 106. I don't think you're going to see that. The next one, also, this one's been kind of disappointing, is Chainlink. As far as price, it's been kind of dead. It had a lot of movement early on when crypto really started to gain some steam back in December and January, and it went all the way. It was at $4. Let's go further back. It was even further back. I mean, that was a long time ago, so we won't even look that far back. But like December, January, really gained momentum. Pretty much just kept going up all the way into the 30s, up to about $35. And it's just been kind of sitting here, and it hasn't really done anything, even though like it's one of the top projects. It's connected with everything in in the crypto world. So one to keep an eye on that hasn't really been doing anything. It may be a sleeping giant, maybe not, but I think that it's worth looking into. One of my favorites that really didn't give it a second look early on at around $24. I wish I would have gotten into it, is Filecoin. Filecoin has been pretty independent of Bitcoin's price, meaning that it has not really relied too much. Well, it kind of shows in the chart that it does, but I feel like when I look at it, that Bitcoin goes down, Filecoin kind of stays still. Bitcoin goes up, Filecoin could still kind of stay still. And it's been performing really strongly in the sense that it was, under $40? Under $40. Why does it say Tuesday? Oh, because it is today. I thought I was on the 7-day. It was under $40, just over $40 on the 9th, so 7 days ago. And it was under 40. It dipped briefly. That's where I picked it up at. It was a pretty good spot on March 5th. And I've just been holding it because it's been strong. It's been solid. They're in storage, hence the name Filecoin. Digitally, blockchain technology, safer, paperless, like store everything, really. Could look more into that. The next one that has been really good to me, played it almost perfect. The only reason I don't say perfect is because I was watching it at 21 cents, thinking that it was looking like it was ready to start making a move, and I never pulled the trigger, and it went up to like, I think, high 30s, and then it came down just below 29 cents. I picked it up, and almost instantly for me, it went to 55 cents. I sold right in the low 50s, around 52. I'm like, screw it. It went up that much. I'm good. I'm just taking it and running with it. I'm not going to mess around. It's back at 36, so it could be a good support point. If you remember in previous videos, I did buy around 41 cents in the low 40s, and I said, you know, I'm not convinced that this is the bottom. I'm not convinced it's going to start moving up. I'd like to see it around 36. You know, I may put in a buy here. You may recognize Matic. It's called Polygon, but it used to be called Matic. They've been around for a while, so if you go to Matic, they bring you to the Polygon website, and they're connecting they're connecting projects on the Ethereum network. So Matic, another one that is just awesome that I don't think gets enough attention. Maybe it's more popular than I realize. It's Kusama, and it's the same creator as Polkadot, and they get cryptocurrency projects going on their network. And I'm just going to mention it briefly. It's had a monster run. I mean, back in the end of the summer, it was $10, 322 now. Crazy run. I'm hoping that Polkadot can do something like that, because I don't own any Kusama. I should, but I don't, and it is what it is. Next, some more mid caps. not so large ones. And keep in mind, there's going to be some that I don't mention that you're going to be like, I can't believe you didn't mention this. And that's fine. There's just so many out there that I want to get through this and I want to keep it moving. U.Trust is a payment system. The thing I like about U.Trust is that it gets used a lot. It has a high adoption rate, and it was kind of frustrating when I was holding around this 20-cent range, right? It just couldn't get anything going while everything else was moving. And it's like, what is going on? Is this one of those ones that is good fundamentally, but just never catches any steam, any momentum? And then it started moving up, and it went up to in the 50s actually, and came back down, had pulled back as they do, and it came back to the 20s. And it's like, oh man, just when we started getting going. And now it's just on a tear. I think people are realizing how good this is. You could go to utrust.com, look at their white paper. Like I said, they're a payment system, and they get used a lot. Like that's the biggest thing. They have a wallet, and I almost wanted to call it Trust Wallet, but that's a Trust Swap. On to the next one is Phantom. The reason I started looking into Phantom is it was mentioned on a YouTube channel as coin of the month, and as soon as it was mentioned, it just started selling off. So I don't fully trust this one, and it's coin of the month for Crypto Banter. I looked into it a little bit. Their coin of the month previously was Cardano. So for this, I was literally just thinking like it could get a good pump, almost. And if it's a pump and dump, great. But the Cardano went from 35 cents all the way up to like $1.40, and it had really good performance. So I'm like, I did wait for it to come down a little bit. The problem was I bought the dip and it kept dipping. So it wasn't good. I got out. I'm not in it. I got out. There was I had a mental stop loss when it was around here, right when it started dropping. I got out around 39. Actually, no, I got out in the 40s. Maybe that was more around here. I can't remember, but I got out in the 40s. I'm still watching it. If it shows anything, I may jump in again. I don't know. Maybe the developers are selling. Maybe they got them to promote their token, and just so they could sell on their followers or something. Maybe it's the group. I don't know. Maybe they had a bunch of it and they're like, yeah, let's make it coin of the month so it'll give it some volume so we could sell out of it. Maybe it's just bad luck. They called it at the wrong time. I don't know. Haven't really looked into much of the project, but feel free to. But I did look at certain areas that I wanted to buy at. It came down to where I wanted to buy at, and it just didn't stop going down like I wanted to. So I sold. Wasn't willing to take any more losses. Next one, 1inch. 1inch is a decentralized exchange, and this one has been quite frustrating too because it's popular, it gets used a lot, and it had a really nice breakout, and it's been kind of like faking out here and there, and it just hasn't caught on. And it's I wouldn't say every bit as good as Uniswap, but it's similar to Uniswap. But I think their user interface and their whole website is more user friendly. I think it's easier with farming and staking, or mainly just farming. But you could look at their chart on TradingView. They had a breakout and then it just fell right back down. So extremely frustrating, but I think it's got a lot of potential. You look at $634 million market cap, and if you look at Uniswap, which is number 8, it's got a $15 billion market cap. So a lot of room for growth. Uniswap, I think, has a better name, but what are you going to do? CurveDAO, I'm not going to mention this too much. You could look into it, and you can go to their website. Any of these, you can go to their website and read their white paper. But Curve has been around for a while. They've been around for a few years, and this is one of those ones that I think the reason I'm mentioning it is they were one of the earlier liquidity pool sites, liquidity pool dApps, decentralized apps. And I heard it meant, like, when I moved, so early mid-January, I moved everything over to cryptocurrency to trade cryptocurrencies as opposed to stocks. And I started getting back in like October, back into some cryptocurrencies, but I moved everything over in January. And when I moved everything over, I remember seeing this get mentioned quite a few times. And it was literally like right here at 71 cents. And I'm like, sounds kind of interesting. I had at the time never heard of liquidity pools, and I just kind of let it be forgotten about. And then next thing I know, it's at $2. I'm like, dang it, I missed that one. So many you're going to miss. Don't be discouraged. So many you're going to miss because there's 6,500 of them, and they go up and down in big percentages. These two I'll mention briefly just because you've heard me talk about them so many times. Super Farm, one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I think this has the most long-term potential. It's NFTs. They have cards, collectibles, art. It's going to be for video games. They're making a video game. It's either Elio Trades or Super Farm making a video game similar to Overwatch. It's not going to be dependent on crypto. It's not going to be some like cheap game that only exists because cryptocurrencies are hot right now and they're just trying to get money and get into that while it's hot. It's going to be, they're trying to make it a really good game so that if cryptocurrencies lose popularity, that the game's still good. And they're making the Superverse, which is kind of like Decentraland. Hopefully it's a little upgraded from that, and that's like the metaverse and Ready Player One. And right now in Decentraland, Mana, right, the collectibles, the in-game collectibles are just they're going crazy. People are buying them like crazy, and it's pretty cool. I just can't justify spending my money on that stuff, so I don't know, maybe it's a really good investment. I'm willing to bet that it is, but yeah, I really, really like Super Farm. I'm interested to see like them. They just launched on Polka Starter like a month ago. Really interested to see them get going and watch them execute. Like their website still hasn't, well, as far as I know, isn't showing anything. They had one or two recent partnerships, so that they are moving. And Elio Trades hasn't really been doing any videos, so hopefully that's because he's hard at work on Super Farm. But really cool idea. Still young, still looking to make sure they execute. But if you remember, I bought at 132 and 116. I made two equal sized buys. Didn't quite come down to $1. I wanted to buy at $1 next, and it's been doing really well. It's doubled since early March. So I expect this to at least be in the top 100. And it's got a $200 million market cap now. I guess I am spending a lot of time on this, but maybe because I just like it so much. The idea of it just excites me. So 618 million market cap. So it could potentially triple from here. I see it more like $10, and I could like really in the long term see it in the top 20, which would put it at a 5 billion. That's more hopeful, so more long term. So don't take that too much to heart. The next one, also an NFT cryptocurrency, is Bondly. And this has been another frustrating one. Bondly is under $100 million, and they have had partnerships with Logan Paul and Tory Lanez, and they're selling their NFTs through Bondly. So a lot of good stuff happening, and like, yeah, it's up 100% from where I bought it. Man, disappointment at 100%. What a crazy world we live in. And it's honestly like, I think this thing should be $5, and it will catch on, I think. Just my opinion. I think so. And check out their website, because you could see some of the NFTs that have been sold. They're literally putting attaching NFTs to everything. Like Logan Paul, he did a $1 million box Pokemon cards that he unboxed, and they made all the moments of him opening the big cards, they turned them into NFTs and sold them. They went for like $15,000 to $20,000, if not more. Some honorable mentions that I've talked about are Elron Gold, MakerDAO, and Terra Luna. Terra Luna is another one that I missed out on. Like, it went on a big run to like $6, and I'm like, let it pull back. It pulled back to like $4, and I didn't buy it. I'm an idiot. Like, anything that Novogratz touches turns to gold. Like, I'm an idiot for not getting in that. It's like over $20. I'm just going to check it out real quick. It's like over $20 now. It's number 14. Yeah, 1969. So mad about that. Anyways, those are just some honorable mentions, and there's still some that you're going to be mad at me about. Synthetics is another one, another honorable mention. SNX, Ren, another honorable mention. It's just I just don't know enough about them, and there's probably some that have gone up 1,000% that I've never heard about. So I apologize. Next, some micro caps. Decenter, this one. So these micro caps, these are ones that may never get going, but if they get going, they're going to give the highest return. These aren't the ones that you want to park all your money. You want to put a little bit in, right? And they may be hard to get out of. They may, have a thin bid and ask or a wide spread on the bid and ask, and it's only on Uniswap, so you may not be able to pick your limit orders, and it may be costly to get out of them. It may be illiquid, so your money may be stuck in there. So that's some of the risks with some of these micro caps. Dissenter, it had 2 instant pumps, right? It had this Telegram trading group, chat group that pumped it, and then that same night, Elio Trades mentioned it, and it went up, and I'm like, well, there's no way this is going to sustain. And I let it come down just below 40, and I bought it, and I saw it come up a little bit. I'm like, oh man, what perfect timing. And I'm like, okay, down in the 30s. So I did buy a little bit more down in the low 30s. This is one that I think you just buy it and wait, and it could potentially go up. And again, you can go to their website. I'm not going to spend as much time on these just because they're hopefuls, right? You can see number 673. Pluton I've mentioned before. I got in around 7, and it went up to 14. Probably just people FOMO'd into it, and it is thin, so it doesn't take much to move it. Only a $20 million market cap, and most people probably haven't even heard of it. And when it came back down to 650, I didn't pull the trigger. It went to 850. I bought a little bit more. I didn't double my position. Bought a little bit more just because it's I don't know, I start to see it get mentioned again, and it's just one of those hopefuls. And you can see, right, it doesn't show it going up. Maybe I was only on one site. But anyways, another hopeful, kind of disappointed is because it's been hanging around a while. Every time it gets up over 11 cents, 12 cents, it sells right back down to 9 or 8. And this is a launch that was on Trust Swap. I think it was Trust Swap. Those projects just have not been performing well at all. They just kind of launch and then they kind of do nothing. The thing I like about this is it's probably realistically, it's fully diluted $7.5 million market cap. That's extremely low because there's probably, if there's a quarter of these, it's under a $2 million market cap. And it's just one of those ones, got a tiny little bit in, and it can go 100 times if it catches any steam. Will it? I don't know. There's a good chance that it won't. One that's been doing really well, and it's probably not in the micro cap anymore, is Bird Money. This one's been really good. It's an oracle, so it accomplishes goals. It accomplishes things similar to Chainlink. They're not nearly as big. Big thing about Bird is that they're talking about getting listed on better exchanges, which right now is just Uniswap, Gate.io, and Bilaxy. Bilaxy is great, but their liquidity is poor, so it's really hard if you're looking at spending more than a few $100 on it. If you're spending a few $100, you're probably okay. And yeah, their liquidity is just poor. Look at their trust score isn't really good. So they do plan on getting better exchanges. I don't know which one or which ones those are that is. And then staking and farming. So initially I did really well on this. I bought it at 46, sold it in the 140s. So really, really well. And it was a short period of time. Came down. I bought it at 121, came down, sold for a loss. I made a couple losing trades, made one small winning trade. And then it went down below 100 again. And I'm like, you might as well take a shot. I don't have as much as I used to, but it over double, so I'm happy about that. And let's see. Last micro cap before I mentioned a couple of the new launches. I can't go a video without mentioning YFDAI. YFDAI, I think, has the most potential out of any cryptocurrency. It's still a $27 million market cap, which is so small, so small. They plan on being in the top 30, and they have a lot of influencers, like social media influencers in the crypto space, a lot of popular people that have been really well known and well liked in the community, like Crypto Burb, Martini Guy, Ivan on Tech. So some big names that are, I think BitBoy is an advisor for them. And it's just, I think the one thing that hurts them is that their price seems relatively high, 6,600, but you don't need to buy 20 of these. You could buy a small portion of these, because this is what you want to look at. You don't want to look at price, you want to look at market cap, right? This is still relatively small. They just had their first platform launch, their pre-sale on their launch pad. It was Impulse Ven. I actually got in on the pre-sale. Super happy about that. And they have just partnered with Ferrum Network for their next one. I believe it's called DFit, which is a DeFi fitness application. I haven't looked into it. I just got here, let's look at it right now. We've got announcements right here. So let's see. It is called DFit. Yeah, DFit. So that's pretty cool. 2 in a week or 2 weeks. Pretty awesome. And then they have their SSGT, their Safe Swap Governance Token, which they're going to be doing airdrops for YFDAI holders and stakers. That they just did the second snapshot today, which you'll get a little bit less of an airdrop than if you had held or staked on the 9th or before. So you're going to get those. You're going to get first priority to the pre-sales. You can stake your coins for 72% APR. It's just, there's so many good things, and they do full audits on their launches to protect against rug pulls. So you saw what happened with Paid Network. You saw what happened with, what's the name of it? Oh, come on, load. With KYL, I want to say it was. It was IYF, KYL. That's one I'm going to mention in a second. I don't know why I confused that. But yeah, big 90% drops where their safe swap is protecting against that. So you're not susceptible to it. I don't know what happens if something like that does happen on their decks, but so I'm not going to mention that. But they do full audits of the people and the project, the tokenomics, like how they release their tokens into circulation. So, I mean, to me, I'm just a big believer that this is going to be big. I mean, I got in like 2,200, and so it's been a triple, so it hasn't been super disappointing. And in the same time, I've been getting 6% a month in YFDAI back, and just reached an all-time high of like 71 or 7,200. Full circulating supply of 4,072. Full circulating supply of 21,000. I do think they plan on doing a coin burn as well, which would bring it down to like 14,900 or 13,900, something like that. That will make the price go up. You saw what happened with Crypto.com. I'm just going to bring this up to show you when they announced that they were doing a token burn, right? This is it right here, from 8 cents to like 25 cents. So anyways, got a few new launches. I'm going to start with a couple that haven't been launched yet, so this will go pretty quick. Konami did launch. So Shift Network, keep an eye on that. You can go there, you can look them up. This is one that I think people are pretty excited about, and most of these you can go and check out their white paper if you really want to read about these. That's the best way to research these, is go to their website and look at their white paper and see if you like them. Konami did launch. I don't know how they did. Let's see. I wonder how they did. I'm interested to see. Oh, I'm going to mention another one too that I completely dropped the ball on. So there's your initial sell-off, and yeah, we'll see how they did. They launched today, I think, like earlier today, or yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday. No, it was today. So fresh, brand new. And then, yeah, the other one is Eternity. Oh my God, what a killer. This thing has been amazing. And another one I'm just an idiot on. This opened at like $4, and it instantly just like went to 10, and then it just never stopped. It had like a slight pullback, but in 7 days, 10 days, from March 8th, it went from $3 and it went over 30 in 4 days, 5 days. Crazy. A lot of people like give up after the launch, after the public sale, because they think like, oh, all these guys got in early, they get on the pre-sale, it's already up 20 times. But same thing with Super Farm. You know, it went up to like, it opened at a little over $1 and it never dropped below $1. But yeah, it just 5 days. Crazy. They're in NFTs. From what I understand, I haven't researched them too much. I know like the YouTube guy, Coach K, is an advisor on it. But yeah, crazy. Kylan Network. This is one I actually was waiting for a while, and I just, again, just one I didn't get in on. But it has performed really well. It had a pullback. Maybe I'll look to. Oh, not really, but yeah. It sold off. These things usually do. They don't always do. You saw Eternity. They usually do sell off 66 cents to over 2, and it's just hanging out just below 2. Kylan Network. Let's keep moving. Another one. I mentioned Ven, VEN, hasn't launched yet. I don't think they have. Yeah, so they don't have anything. But yeah, watch out for Impulse Ven. Talked about that. So the last one, I just thought of this now. So these are some newer ones, the last 5 I talked about. Ven hasn't even launched yet. That launched on the YFDI. I'm interested to look into DFIT off YFDI to see what they actually do, fitness and cryptocurrency. I was in the fitness industry for 9 years, so I'm interested to look into that and see if it's legit or if it isn't. I'd be a good judge on that. Eternity, just been a monster. Kylan has been doing really well. I think they have a chance at a parachain on Polkadot. And 2 I want to mention. I'm sorry, I can't believe I did not mention Polkastarter. This is one of my favorites. This I got in at $1.01 and went up to $7. I sold a little bit at 5. I sold a little bit at 7, and I just held. Came down below. I think it came down below 3 recently, and I didn't buy more. Below 4, just below 4. Wait, I swear it went lower than that. Yeah, there. Well, 382, just below 4. So I didn't buy any more, but I mean, I've sold at least half. It's probably $10. I mean, everything's you saw it, right? I mean, it's like every week we have 5 new launches on Polkastarter. I mean, 4 in the next 9 days, and 1 just launched. So it's just being used, it's being utilized, it's been adopted, and yeah. And then the last one, I can't wrap my head around the prediction markets. So Polka markets is a prediction, it's betting, so I just think they can't say betting. And it's done so well. The one reason I really didn't want to buy in it, just another example of like, it really starts after the public sale. Like that's when the price really starts. Like, don't pay attention to the pre-sale. Where it starts on the public sale is where it should be at. Pre-sale just got lucky they get on the pre-sale, and they made a crap load of money because they were able to get on the pre-sale. It's really hard now. Everybody wants to get on the Polkastarter projects. But the reason I went up like 50 times. So if you put $100 in, you turn it into $5,000. If you put $1,000 in, you turn it into $50,000 by the time of public launch. So is that like $1.27? That's not right. Maybe it was at like $2.20. That's probably more what it was. that makes me feel a little better. I only missed out on like 100% or 80%. So, but yeah, it's doing amazing. $3.64. Some people believe this is like the best project in all the cryptocurrency space. I can't personally wrap my head around it. They may be right. So I may just buy some as long as this bull market stays, just because like my risk tolerance is a lot higher right now while we're in this bull market. So I'm willing to take bigger risks. That'll change. It'll bite me eventually if I don't watch it and I don't have a plan. But yeah, it's one of those that people think could be like one of the biggest, one of the best projects that have ever launched. So it's worth looking into. Anyways, that's it. We mentioned almost 30 altcoins in this video, and hopefully it encouraged you to at least learn about one new one, two new ones, and made you want to look into them more, or maybe it was just, you know, something you've already seen in all of them. You've already heard of all of these. I don't know, but what I'm hoping is that mentioned just enough. With mentioning that many, didn't want to get really detailed into anything, and some of them I really don't know much about. I just heard them mentioned and think it was important to mention, and seen their growth over time on the charts. So for me, the purpose of this was just to mention those, hopefully get the wheels turning, and encourage you to look into some of these, and maybe you find one you really like and you make 1,000% on one of them. That would be amazing. So again, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button. If you didn't enjoy it, you don't have to. You could even hit the dislike button if you want. Subscribe. It helps me out. My first goal is to hit 100 subscribers. Would love to hit that and get my custom URL where I could just put Matt the Trader in there instead of a bunch of random letters and numbers, and that really makes it look a little more professional. And I hope you liked it. We'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. One last thing I wanted to mention, any cryptocurrencies that you love, that you're interested in, that didn't get mentioned or don't get mentioned ever in my videos, list them in the comments. I want to hear about them. I want to hear about the ones that you like. Then I'm going to look at them and I'm going to let you know what I think of them. Also, if there's any topic at all in the cryptocurrency space, put it in the comments. Let me know. I want to know everything about this space, so I'm going to look into it and I'm going to let you know what I think. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks.